You've seen her on HBO's Girls, and she writes for The Onion. Please put your hands together for Lane Moore.
Hey, guys. How many of you guys are good at knowing when someone likes you? What's that? No one? Yeah, no, I already know that. And here's how I know that. Because I read Misconnections night and day. And every single Misconnections is like, we talked for 17 N train stops, and yet I said nothing. Now I'm reaching out to you over the internet. Can you see this? No! No one's reading those. But I get it. I get like why we're so bad at this. Because I'm really bad at it as well. I date men and women, and there was a girl who I had a crush on, and I just didn't know if she liked me because women are just harder to read and you just can't tell. And so I asked my friend Destin, and I did that thing that we all do when we like someone, which is that we tell like our friends every single thing they've ever said to us. Like, she said hi at 3:57 with a smiley face. Sex? Like, we just don't know. It's very scary. And so, yes, I am that panicked all the time. And so my friend Dustin, like, looked at the facts, of which there were, like, none. And he was like, Lane, she's totally DTF. And I was like, oh, boy, what does that mean? And he goes, it means she's down to fuck. And I was like, I just heard someone in the audience go, oh, like, you're learning as well. So I'm not the biggest idiot. Or if I am, there's like more of us than we know. That makes me really happy. It was the best. So Dustin was like, oh, that means she's down to fuck. And I was like, what? That is so great, because I'm MTH. And he was like, what's MTH? And I was like, oh, masturbating to her. Just like all the time. So it's like, sometimes, like, when it's right, it's right. I think people think that being queer is like really fun, you know. I think it's because we have like fun parades and stuff like that, and we have like fun slogans. Like one slogan we have is like, "We're here, we're queer, get used to it," and that's like fun. But like I think like. It'd be nice if we had like other slogans too. Like maybe one could be like, "We're here, we're queer. I don't have health insurance." Maybe like one like just like something like that. You know who doesn't have any problem, or I guess didn't have any problem knowing if someone liked him? Prince. Did you guys ever listen to that song Little Red Corvette? Like, you know that song. Have you guys ever listened to the lyrics of Little Red Corvette? All right, I see one guy nodding in the back like he's like scared and excited. So if you haven't heard the lyrics to Prince's Little Red Corvette, basically in the song, Prince is describing this girl he's dating as a really fast car. So like, Prince is like not the master of subtlety. Like, we get it. Like, things are going faster sexually. Like, all right. So he starts off the song by saying, guess I must be dumb. She had a pocket full of horses, Trojans, some of them used. What? But like, I love that, like, that's his first clue that she's maybe a little fast. He doesn't want to sex shame. He's like, perchance she is, I don't know. So then his next hint is he goes to her apartment and he says, and I saw all the pictures of the jockeys that were there before me. What? So she has photos everywhere of like men she's slept with, just like littering the walls. But again, he doesn't want to assume that she's fast, you know, who can know? So then they're like out at like a steak dinner, I presume. And he says, believe it or not, I started to worry. I wondered if I had enough class. Prince, let's recap. Okay. So you're dating a girl who's just like walking around town with you, and she has pockets full of used condoms. They're spilling like fucking confetti because they're very slippery. And then you go to her apartment, and there's photos everywhere of every guy she's ever fucked, presumably in a decorative frame. And every photo I can only imagine is like this. Like, just like, and she's like, you know, you saw the wall. And he's like, but I didn't know this was an ongoing art project. So, and his concern is like, am I classy enough for this girl? Should I wear a sports jacket? Like, all right. But similar, like, there's so many of these songs like we don't really understand, really pay attention to. And along the same lines, do you guys remember when Robin Thicke was a thing? Do you guys remember? I know we've all like just pushed it as far back as we can get it. But one night recently, I knew his like rapey song, like of course the classic. I knew that one, but I want to like check out his other wares. Like what other songs do you have? I want to know. So he has a song called Dream World, and I want to talk about it with you so that I'm not going through this alone anymore. Dream World. Now, so Robin Thicke is describing his, dream world. It's just, perfect world, all right? And, so to start with, as you guys know, Robin Thicke is, a really good lyricist. So he starts off by saying, I will be you, you will be me, we will be what we will be just fine. So, already, you're, so much to say right out the gate. I'm listening. So then he says, the ice caps wouldn't be melting, and neither would I. It's an environmental message. All right, he stands for stuff. That's cool. And then he says, I would just drive my big old car. What happened to the environment? All right. And then he says, an energy would just fall right down from the sky. Dude, that's a thing. It's called lightning. Does Robin Thicke not know about lightning? All right. So then he says, everything would sound right and no one would stop me from drinking my wine. All right, here's the thing about this. Robin Thicke is a grown person, and his dream world so far is, I would get to drink wine and drive a car. You've been able to do that for a number of years. But I also love that he's like, no, but I'd be able to drive a car, but there wouldn't be global warming. And it'd be a huge car. Which are all just good dreams. So then he says, that's my dream world, that's my dream world. It's more than a dream. That's my dream world, that's my dream world. I want to live in that dream, parentheses, dream. So then he says, there's a bunch of stuff that I'll skip over. He says he wouldn't be so damn sensitive. Which is my favorite line, maybe. And then he says, every time I need a woman, she'd appear right by me. Where are they being kept? In a fridge? A fallout shelter? I don't know. So then he says, she'd hold me tight, treat me right, and tell me everything is gonna be all right. Robin, we've listened to this song. I don't think anything's gonna be all right, ever. And then he says, that's my dream world, dream. So then, but Robin Thicke knows he wants to go out really powerfully. So he puts all of his most I'm gonna make some statements, the last verse. I would tell Van Gogh that he was loved. There's no need to cry. Okay. So your dream world is you get to drink a lot, drive your car around, and no one would stop you from drinking again, which when I read that no one would stop me from drinking my wine, I realized something, which is that oh, that's not just a lyric. Someone in real life is stopping you from drinking as much as you want to drink. Oh. You put down the piano, go to a meeting. But then, you would also go back in time, yeah, I drive my car around and I have women in a fridge and I cheer up Van Gogh. Okay. You'd go back in time, and also if Van Gogh was cheered up, you might be depriving the world of Van Gogh. All right. So it's worth it, so that he would know he was loved. Anyway, but then it just gets so next level when he says, I would say, Marvin Gaye, your father did not want you to die. Who thinks he did? At no point was that I wish we could take that back. No one said that. Also, maybe what Marvin Gaye's father would want is for you not to steal his loop. That's just my dream world. But then he says, there would be no black and white, and I would just treat my wife right. Okay. Here's the thing. You can do that right now. Just stop driving your big old car around and trying to drink as much wine as you possibly can and wondering if lightning exists, and maybe just be nice to your wife. But I think my favorite part of all of this is that he lists all the things he would do and all the bottles of wine he wants to kill and all the women he'll keep stocked Fresca cans. And then maybe if there's time afterwards, he'll like end racism. But like if there's time, it's like there's a lot of wine and a lot of driving. So that's his dream world, which is cool. I think I try to do like nice things for myself. I feel like that's important to do, just like no matter who you are, if you want to like grow as a person, which is like honestly up to you. But like one of the things that I do to be like really nice to myself is like, for example, I was on the toilet and I was peeing and I took a piece of toilet paper to like blow my nose with, and then I was gonna take that same piece of toilet paper to wipe with, and then I thought, no! Treat yourself. Fresh square. Just a fresh, do you know what I mean? Just like, just for you. Oh my God. I just had like the weirdest, do you guys ever have like a random craving for ice cream and then realize what you really want is to feel loved? Does that ever happen to you? You're just like, oh, it's so crazy because that store's not even open right now and it never will be. It's like so random. Is anybody here in the DARE program at all? Yeah? Yeah? Some scared smiles. If you weren't in the DARE program, I don't really know how to describe DARE to you, because all I remember is that it was some like out of work police officer who just like brought in a suitcase full of drugs when you were 8, and everyone was like, this is a good use of time. But right before I stopped talking to my parents entirely, I found my old DARE notebook, and it's fine, they're dead. So it was really interesting. So there's a whole DARE workbook, and what they want to do is they're trying to coach you through what will happen when the inevitable occurs, which is that you'll be 8 in suburbia and you're offered cocaine. They just want to prepare you for this moment that we've all ended up facing. So in the DARE workbook, they give you prompts for what someone who's offering you drugs or alcohol will say to you. But the first thing you need to know about the DARE program is that if someone offers you drugs or a beer, they will be a gang member. It literally says what the gang would say. And you're like, all right. So it starts off with saying no to peer pressure, beer. So the beer gang, which like you've seen them around, they're nutty. So the beer gang would say, come on, let's drink some beer. And I wrote that I would say, go jump in a lake, bud. I'm a bit wiser than that. It's like pretty good. Also, I used the first and second half of Budweiser beer, which like I'm not sure if that was like savvy marketing. Good for me though. But another thing that I love about the DARE program is that like, if you're 8 or you're 28, like, and you don't want to drink or something, like, all you have to do is say, like, no thanks, man, I'm cool, and they're fine. But like in the DARE program, they teach you that it's better to say, like, a true friend wouldn't make me do beer. Like, no, that's the worst. No. So then it goes into what are the consequences of using alcohol? Okay, and so I wrote 3 things that I had learned. 1, you could get drunk. 2. They're so dire. Get ready. 2, you could get addicted to it and lose your memory. We all know someone. That's maybe 15 people that's happened to. Number 3, perhaps the most terrifying, you expand your chances of getting into trouble. It's like you won't necessarily, but you're expanding your chances. I'm 8. No one's talking about this. So another thing I love about the DARE program is that in the DARE program, there are 2 gangs around. There's the beer gang and the marijuana gang, and they do not hang out. No. Because, like, sides were chosen. Like, you can't be in the beer gang and, like, go smoke a joint at the marijuana gang. Like, they're not going to let you in, you know? Like, and this is stuff we know now. But at that time, we needed to be told. So the marijuana gang, which, as you guys know, they're, like, a notoriously pushy bunch. The marijuana gang would say to me at 8, don't be a chicken, it's only a joint. Which is just like so like a gang. It's just like classic gang talk. And I wrote that I would say, joint yourself, no thanks. Right? Yeah, you can use it. But like honestly, like that's a pretty good thing to say, because like if somebody said that to me, like I leave them alone probably forever, so it's good. And so the last thing it says are, what are the consequences of using marijuana? And it's really weird because in all of the DARE workbook, like I'd usually filled out a lot of things in this DARE workbook. And I only filled out one thing on the consequence of using marijuana. I could only figure out one possible consequence, and that was this. Marijuana makes you look at things realistically. No. And honestly, like, that's kept me away from it to this day. So, like, DARE kind of worked. Thank you guys so much.